Hello and welcome back to the Puncher's Chance podcast with myself, Sam Hill, and as always, I'm joined by
Tovey
and
Ben Thomas.
And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the big British fight, Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall, talking about Lawrence Okolie over in Poland, previewing the 5v5 and including some audio clips from the world of boxing. Jump straight into it. We'll start with Lawrence Okolie, I think. Give him his due diligence. Got the Bridgerweight World title.
Two-time world champion as well now. So
what did you make of him?
I thought it would be a lot tougher than it was, if I'm being completely honest.
It was a nothing event in the end, wasn't it? Like
a little bit.
You clicked it on and you thought, it's 12 rounds here probably, but yeah, nice first round stoppage for him, and yeah, we got another world champion in Britain.
One of two now, which is it's mad. I felt like we had loads,
yeah, and
then just all of a sudden we've only got two, which is kind of
doesn't look like he's
and it's
sticking
all it's all boxers as well, ain't it?
Yeah, all boxers. I mean, obviously, you had Nick Bull, Ray Vargas, which was unlucky. I think Nick Bull should have had that one.
He should have a world title.
But other than that, it's not looking good for us at the moment. It's not looking good. Though, I suppose Kachachi's Irish, so...
is he Northern Irish? Or?
The British Isles have a world title, okay, but the British, someone who represents as British, don't, which is tough.
I don't think he's sticking about the Bridgerweight for long, was he? He wants a fight with Usyk, so...
There was talks of unification afterwards, Joe Gallagher was saying, and I thought there was only one governing body in Bridgerweight.
There's two.
Is it WBC and WBA, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
But I reckon he got another fight there against Kevin Lorana, or Lorena, however you pronounce his name. I think that's a brilliant fight for him. And
he's not getting a fight with Usyk anytime soon, is he? So he probably needs someone else.
What was the stat you were talking earlier, and you said that apparently he weighed in more than Usyk.
Yeah, I think he weighed in heavier for the Bridgerweight fight. Or he was heavier on fight night for the Bridgerweight fight than Usyk was for the unification fight.
That's mental. That doesn't add up. I know it does. It just doesn't. It shouldn't compute. Which is it. I suppose it gives even more credit to Usyk's achievement. Like you wouldn't back Lawrence Okolie against Fury because of the size of it. Like it would be no way. But he did it. He made work of it over in Poland, and then. Back in Leeds.
The wonderful Leeds.
No, I don't want to talk about that.
You don't want to talk about Sunday?
I had a lovely Sunday in London.
Hay fever season as well?
Yeah, a few tears on the way back, but that was all. It was, I am very feel. In Leeds, Matchroom card. Some brilliant fights on there. We said before and we were looking forward to it. And I think it lived up to it. I think it was a really good event as a whole. I missed some of them, but from what I watched, it was a really good show.
Yeah, I started watching I missed the Gary Patara fight, which is the one that let me down on the predictions. You won this week.
Yeah, clean, perfect score.
Was it?
Yeah, got every fight
25 not out. Well done.
Can't knock that.
Yeah, Patara let me down. It was close, mind, wasn't it, in the end?
It was a close fight.
I don't know if the scorecards were particularly close.
And that's what we're going to be talking most about from this show. Is the
just scorecards. Yeah.
Yeah, good win for Cully anyway against someone who's like a decent fighter, beat some good people and won some good belts. But then Paddy Donovan beating Lewis Ritson with a stoppage. Another good stoppage.
Sad to see though now that I think that's it now for Lewis Ritson.
Yeah, possibly, but Donovan, Lewis Crocker is what I want to see now next.
Be a good fight. That it was a really good finish from Donovan.
Would be massive.
Incredible.
It was an unbelievable finish though from Donovan. It was one of those ones where they just like flick on.
He turned it
bang.
on, yeah.
Like you've got respect. I mean, 9 rounds in, it took a while to happen, but I
think the referee was looking in the previous round to step in and stop it, but he survived.
The stoppage was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We said it was almost inevitable. We felt like that was going to happen. And before we skip,
did you see the weigh-ins as well? They're the only two that went apart from the main event, we're going head on head with each other. So there was a bit of fire there, but there we go.
I think the one that earlier on in the card as well that jumped out at me was Giorgio Vizioli. 3 knockouts now from 3 wins, and it was another really good knockout.
Good fight to him.
He looks special. Like to do that 3 times. A lot of the times when you're fighting. Your first few fights, people aren't there to win, so it can be hard to get them out of there. That's 3 now. He's managed to get out of there with pretty light work in 4 rounds.
A lot of stoppages on night.
Yeah, it was a busy one. Oh, what a knockout! To be fair,
it was a good finish, but I think it wasn't the best of fights. If we're being honest, was it?
Like it was his toughest test yet as well. Also, like Zorro's only been beaten by Jay Opetaia.
Did you hear as well? Elisoro doesn't care about titles. All he cares about is the payday, apparently.
Yeah, well, that's what boxers should be like, I think.
Yeah, it's like Gary said on an unnamed other podcast, because they're a competitor, that he recommends his fighters go for money, not titles, because you can't...
It's a smart thing to do. It's a short career. And
yeah, if you've got an out left and you're having to work like a rubbish 9 to 5 and you look over and there's a little scrap of like metal in the corner, you're not going to be... Whereas if you haven't got a scrap of metal in the corner, but you look at your bank and you go, yeah, do you know what, I'm sorted.
Personally, anyway, that's the first thing I'd be sorting out first, is making sure after boxing I'm
sorted.
done.
Yeah, but...
Make sure your family's sorted as well, innit?
Back to the fight. I think you were harsh on Chev Clark. I think...
Well, didn't I message in the group chat? I say, yeah, this isn't the Chev Clark I remembered from back in Belfast. And then the next round he gets the stoppage. And I'm like, oh, what an idiot.
I think you're being a bit harsh. I think...
It was a tough fight, yeah, but it wasn't pretty. Let's be honest.
He was never going to look good against the Zorro because of the way Zorro fought. You could say, but Opetaia got him out in...
It was very messy. I think it's
I think Zorro made it messy for Clark. I don't think he could have looked good in that fight because of the way, other than if he, like Opetaia did, get one clean shot early and knock him out, which he could have done. It took him 8 rounds to get that clean shot, and he did it. But yeah,
part of me as well, I think, was a bit critical because I wanted the main event a bit quicker. So
yeah, that's fair.
I thought this would have been a bit of a shout out by Chev Clark. But the annoying thing now is all the top British cruiserweights that we can match him up against aren't with Matchroom. So it's like, what's he going to do now? He's going to have to jump straight to a world level fight now, surely.
No, he's got the British title now. He should have the winner of
Jack Macy and Isaac Chamberlain. Yeah. But I don't think that's going to happen.
It should have happened for the British title. Obviously, Isaac Chamberlain went for the European belt. If he gets that, then Chev Clark is next in line for that European belt.
But then they vacate the European belt and you never see the fight, probably.
Yeah,
which is annoying. But
it's been hard to make fights between boxer and Matchroom, hasn't it? Which is the frustration. It will all be fine. Like he'll do all right. He's a tidy fighter. He'll get his world title shot eventually. It's just what.
Yeah, he's still only was he 9-0 now? So
9-0, and he's British champion. That is quite impressive.
8-0, yes. Sorry.
8-0.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I suppose as well he can. There's things outside of Britain for fights. He doesn't have to go, the British route. He can go for like an intercontinental belt or something like that on his way.
Yeah.
Rather than jumping straight all the way to British, and then it's doable. It's not like it's make or break. It's not like...
What was his amateur career like? Because I don't know much about that. Was he?
I think he was a good amateur. Yeah? I think he had a good amateur career, Chev Clark.
Was he Olympian or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I can't remember, to be honest, but I think he had a decent amateur career, but not like a
standout.
Like a, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a...
Alexander
Usyk, 135 and 15, something like that. Nah, he didn't have that kind of career.
Ridiculous.
Who did, realistically? The main event, Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall, the fight we've been waiting ages for, one of the most controversial decisions in British boxing recently. And did the fight deliver?
Yeah, it was better than the first one, I think.
Oh, 100%. The first round was better than the last fight, let's be honest.
Very good fight.
It showed how much it meant to both of them, didn't it?
I think it went a lot the same way as the first one as well. Catterall dominated, I think, the early rounds. I had him 5 rounds to 1 up after 6. But then it was the same thing again. Taylor just dragged himself back in. I think Catterall got a bit tired towards the end, got it a bit closer, but the scorecards were wide. But I had Catterall winning. I think I had him 116, 112, possibly could have been 115, 113 by the end of it. But
yeah, I rewatched it back and I got it 115, 113. So it was a close fight, but yeah. What is it between these two and having controversial judging?
Yeah,
I think it's just because the fights are so close, and then sometimes...
Well, exactly, but...
And it's such
if it was a close fight, it would have been what we scored it, not 117, 111.
It's such a contrast of styles, isn't it? Like, Jack Catterall is undoubtedly the better technical fighter, undoubtedly the better defensive fighter, etc., etc. But Josh Taylor's got the heart, got the grit. So, you can sort of see how people still did score it for a Josh Taylor win. Like there is
some people did have Taylor winning
that think Taylor got robbed. Bob Arum being one of those in the ring.
If I have that energy when I'm 92 years old to step up in that ring, what was it, 1:45, and step up there and say it's a disgrace in front of 15,000 Brits, I think
he wasn't happy.
No, but I think what Eddie Hearn said, which I think is a brilliant point, is it's a shame that we have to talk about the cards again because it almost distracts from what was just a really good performance from Catterall.
It was
particularly in those first 7-8 rounds. Like, it's a shame that that's almost like another blot on the record of, I beat Josh Taylor, but it looked a bit dodgy because the judges just went and scored every round to him, which isn't the case.
It was a bit bittersweet as well, wasn't it? Because the last fight was for Undisputed, and this time around there was nothing on the line. So
yeah, but it was the old point.
It was all redemption, but I think it was a bit bittersweet because you saw him backstage and he just looked. You didn't think he won because he looked quite deflated, I thought.
I think we get a trilogy now, though, because it's technically 1-1.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think it depends on what comes up for Catterall. If he
Catterall is fed up of talking about Josh Taylor, though, and he wants that world title fight now.
It depends if he can get it, though. If he can get the fight with Teofimo Lopez, I think that's what will be next. But I still think we'll see a trilogy between.
Eddie Hearn's got a lot of fighters as well at that weight, so
yeah, maybe. I think the thing with Jack Catterall is, you say it's 1-1, and obviously on the score it's 1-1, but in his mind it's 2-0.
Yeah,
and so I think he could quite easily move on and say, I've had that, I've done that, I won the first one, didn't get it, won the second one, I'm happy to move on. And someone like Teofimo Lopez would be a really good fight. I mean, to get that world title shot, I think
if he can get it, he should have it next, because if he has a trilogy with Josh Taylor and then loses the third fight, then there's a possibility that world title fight never happens for him. So I think the smart move would be to go for a world title shot next, whether it's with Teofimo Lopez or one of the other champions. But
that's the great thing about that division as well. That super lightweight division is you've got I think we spoke about it a couple of weeks back. Devin Haney still has his belt after the Garcia loss. Teofimo Lopez has 1 belt. Pitbull Cruz has 1 belt, and Subriel Matias has 1 belt. So there's 4 belts with 4 people.
Yeah.
So you realistically you can make a fight with any one of those 4.
Yeah.
And get it. Which one I'd make it with, I don't know.
Out of those 4, there's 2 with Eddie Hearn, so there's 2 easy fights there to make. So,
and everyone's got a loss on their record, I think, up at that top of the super lightweight. There's no one.
Well, there's one person that's got a loss, but isn't a loss. Let's be honest.
May not last, but yeah. I think it's gone well for Jack Catterall. I'm really happy for him. I didn't necessarily have favourite going into this fight.
It was a truly 50-50,
I'm really happy that he got the win that he felt he deserved, and a lot of people felt he deserved.
Did you see as well in the week, Boxing News came out with a podcast with that referee who scored it, what was it, in the last fight, quite wide?
George Groves, I was.
With George Groves, oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but he's on Boxing News, they platform it on YouTube, I think.
And he came out and he was saying, I never heard of Jack Catterall before the fight, and I'm thinking, uh-oh. What's he saying here? Are you being biased towards the champion and all? But when you read into it, he had it 1 round different to another judge, and he got removed of his A-class license as a referee.
It's tough.
It's tough for him.
I think he was like a victim or villainized of a bigger problem in boxing.
Yeah.
Like the problem is not that one judge. He is not the problem. The problem is judging in we've said it so many times. Dodgy decisions that are silly things we knew would happen. Like, I think you said before the Jonas Meyer fight, you were like, Meyer's going to win, but Jonas is going to get the result, and you called it perfectly. Like, that's exactly how it went.
Yeah.
There needs to be a list, I think.
Something.
There needs to be like 5 things that a judge needs to look at.
It's difficult on it because everyone looks at a fight objectively different. Like, everyone prefers a different.
We were scoring the fight. I was scoring it 1 round further than all of us.
We all had it.
We all had it the same.
Pretty much the same. But then I said this before. We talk a lot.
Yeah.
And we like, if we similar, we have similar views, or else we wouldn't. We'd kick off every week and it wouldn't last. So
no, that happens behind the scenes.
Off camera. I think one thing that's interesting, a lot of people talk about, is CompuBox and having the punch stats for the judges. They don't obviously have at the moment. Do you think that's maybe something you could bring in so that if a judge is thinking, I'm going to give Jack Catterall that round because I think he outpunched Josh Taylor, he can then check if he's actually right or if he's wrong?
They definitely need to do
I don't see no issue with that. Like, it would be helpful for him, I suppose.
But then I suppose then people are going to then think, well, our judge is just going to score it based off who lands the most punches. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I think if you use it as a supplement to just to confirm. So if they're thinking, I think this person won because they landed more punches. Check. Oh no, they actually landed half as many punches. oh, well, actually, the other person was more impressive, so I was wrong, so I'll give it. Like,
but they've literally got 20 seconds to score.
It's mental.
It's unbelievable.
You can also have the thing with, like, someone could land a lot of punches in a round, but they could do nothing, where someone could land one or two very good shots, and I don't know, it's difficult sometimes.
Yeah, but like the Usyk Fury fight, for example, I remember thinking that Usyk landed like significantly more punches, and then when you look at the stats, it's actually quite similar.
Yeah.
So like maybe that was just like, it seems like it because he's a busier man, but it doesn't actually mean. So I don't know. It's a tough one.
But I think one positive about it is the right men won. True. Over the last 2 weeks with the judging. So
yeah,
it'd probably be good to sit down with a referee and sort of get the viewpoint from it.
Yeah, we should. We've got someone we could. We've got someone. I won't say because obviously, you know,
we'll see him on Saturday, surely.
Most likely, yeah. So we maybe that's something we do. If you guys would be interested in that, let us know in the comment section or Spotify reply on the like. What did you think of this episode? Let us know if you think it'd be interesting to talk to a ref and see what goes through their head when they're scoring a fight. Then let us know. Audio clips. Now, we didn't have any
best time of the week.
We haven't had any audio clips for a while because it's just been like,
you can be bothered
Fury,
to make
Usyk Fury. No, I've been looking. I've been scouring the internet. I'm not going to say where I always steal the audio clips from. But
well, I mean, come on now. You said it now, so...
I'm not going to cuss them out, but there's just been lots of the same, so it's not been worth us talking about it. But now we've got some interesting stuff. The first one is... You mentioned it slightly with the Devin Haney loss. Eddie Hearn's talking about Ryan Garcia's positive B-test results for Osterin.
We're talking about this idiot again.
One thing we can't deny now, which is factual, is that when he boxed Devin Haney, he had performance-enhancing drugs in his system. Therefore, the fight should never have taken place. It did, and this is a problem with testing as a whole, but more importantly, the contest shouldn't be acknowledged. You know, he was 3.5 pounds over, and he had PEDs in his body.
Do you think that will overrule it and make it a no contest?
Oh, 100% no. Like, it was in his system. So you can't acknowledge the result. They won't either. But the disqualification, all this kind of stuff, you just don't know.
So Eddie was pretty confident that he thinks it's going to be a no contest.
100%.
It probably is going to be.
Are you as confident?
Yeah, it has to be now. The guy cheated.
I think it should be. Like the whole...
It is going to be.
I think you've got to look at like the greater context of the whole thing as well. Like coming overweight, the whole thing was a mess. Like I think it would
partying, saying he's got mental health issues and all that for an act. So
I'm not saying necessarily that's the right thing to do, but I think the New York Boxing Board of Control might just think, do you know what? If we just chalk this one off, pretend it never happened, it might look a bit better for them than when people were saying they should have stepped in, this, that, and the other. Like, it's a mess.
Do you reckon there's a lengthy ban for him as well? Because look at Conor Benn now. Look how long that's taken.
Yeah, but he'll just fight in Texas, won't he? Like,
yeah, you'll find somewhere that
Nevada,
will commission him.
Like,
he'll be fighting Jake Paul before we know it, probably.
Well, he said he's offered to step in, I believe, but
well, hopefully he steps in instead of Mike Tyson fighting him. So yeah,
that's a messy one. We'll jump onto that now. Now we've said it. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. If you haven't seen the videos online, he looks. I saw him. He's been in a wheelchair. He said on stage that he's feeling really sore. I saw a thing of him on a treadmill.
And he's limping.
And it didn't look tidy.
It's sad what money can do, ain't it?
I mean,
July 20th or July 21st for us is going to be a sad day because I'm going to see, in my first time in my lifetime, a live Mike Tyson fight, and I'm going to see him lose to someone I used to watch on a Disney Channel when I was little.
Did you actually watch him on the Disney Channel?
I was a Team 10 fan back in the day. Believe it or not, yeah.
Everyday bro.
I don't even know what that is.
So there's something called YouTube, Ben, where this podcast.
I watched YouTube.
It's like I'm not
really like.
It's like the old VHS radio, but with a video. No, he did. What was it? The Bizarre was it the Disney Channel show?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's bad.
And
it's
Vine.
bad.
You surely know what Vine is. What he used to do.
Oh yeah, I know
the old TikTok.
But
I just don't know wherever Team 10 is.
I'll show you later.
It was Jake Paul's failed attempt at being the sideman, basically.
Pretty much. And then everyone hated each other, and then they went off. But back to boxing. Education is now over. For Ben.
It's bad. The fight shouldn't. Well, if Mike Tyson's happy to fight, you can't say
get a lot of money for it.
You can't say the fight shouldn't happen because if both men are happy to fight, then you can't really.
Did you see him on Twitter as well? He said, "I don't even have to be fit to beat him." So. And you've seen all the press conferences as well. I can't believe that the way Jake Paul was speaking, like he's fighting a prime Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I know.
He's fighting a Mike Tyson who's been out the ring for over 20 years, 25 years.
It would be kind of funny if this was just like all an act from Mike Tyson. If he was just like, oh, let's just pretend as if I'm...
from Ryan Garcia.
That's what...
And he just turns up on the night that he just like an animal again.
That's what Ariel Helwani said, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said, when Mike Tyson said, I'm feeling really sore, like my body's shit, Ariel said, I think you're playing possum. And he was like, I wish I was. I don't know. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love nothing more than to be wrong.
I'd love to
but
see
I just don't think I am.
I'd love to see Mike Tyson beat him, but I don't see it. I honestly do not see it. So,
and do you know what's worse as well? We're going to come off the back, if we watch this when it's on Netflix or whatever, when we watch it, we're going to come off the back of watching one of the biggest fights in women's boxing of all time, and then we're going to watch that. That's bad, man. It shouldn't be. Why?
Well, have you seen the undercard as well? You've got Darren Till on it. You've got
such a weird
Whindersson
card,
Nunes on it as well. Brazil against India
from Misfits. It's like it's a mess.
It is just like a Misfits card, and they've just thrown the
on
biggest
steroids.
women's fight ever in the middle of it.
Yeah,
it's good though that they're on a big platform like Netflix.
Oh yeah,
everyone
they're
can watch
gonna
it.
make a lot of money. It's probably going to be the most viewed fight of the year. I would have thought.
What, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson?
Yeah, because he like pretty much everyone got a Netflix account. Like if that just pops up on the Saturday night, people are just gonna be like, oh yeah, let's see what happens.
Do you think people will think it's like a documentary or something, like when it comes up? Because obviously we haven't had a fight on Netflix.
The closer it is to it, they'll probably push it.
What are they doing? They've got this fight, and then next year as well for the WWE fans, they put in Raw as well. So they're moving towards sports. It's going to be like an Amazon Prime, ain't it, with Netflix?
I'm not mad at it if there's no pay-per-views.
Exactly, but what's the subscription cost for a month with Netflix?
Yeah, that's
$6.99.
That's the only thing.
So, well, a lot less than.
That's the only thing we don't want. Like has happened with DAZN, where you've paid for a subscription, and then like a couple of months or years down the line, you're like, oh, you've got a subscription now. You've got to pay for all the fights as well.
Yeah, that would be annoying.
What's the predictions then for the fight? Mike Tyson, Jake Paul.
Jake Paul.
Realistically, Jake Paul should win, shouldn't he?
Third round knockout.
You think he knocks him out?
Or stoppage? I don't think he knocks him out.
I hope we don't see Mike Tyson flat out on the canvas. That's all I hope.
I don't think we will. I think the ref would stop it before it got to that.
Yeah.
Well, we can only hope.
Because realistically, the ref's going to be a big boxing fan.
Yeah.
You're not going to just let Mike Tyson stand there and get walloped while his knees fail.
Have you seen Turki Alalshikh as well? He put out on Twitter watching the press conference, my brother, ignore the script and knock this fool out for me.
It would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice,
Never mind.
but I don't think it happens, but there we go.
Speaking of undisputed heavyweights, or big heavyweight title holders, Fury versus Usyk. Frank Warren said, speaking to somebody, I think it was probably Queensberry, about the rematch, whether he thinks it's going to happen, when he thinks it's going to happen, etc.
It was the biggest heavyweight fight of the 21st century. 4 belts on the line. We now have a unified champion, and there'll be a rematch. Tyson's called for the rematch, and that will happen, I hope, sometime in October in the Riyadh season, and we're going to get something extra special. There's no doubt about it. I think the rematch will be bigger than the last one, and it'll be interesting to see a couple of things. One, what's the fights taken out of both of the guys, because it was a tough fight, and 2, they both got superb boxing brains. Who's going to see, they obviously see their respective weaknesses that they may have exploited. How can they improve on that?
I think we've timed it well as well, talking about this now, haven't we?
What, with the podcast?
Yeah, because what happened before we went live?
Well, you saw it, Ben. You saw the tweet. I didn't see it.
I think they've given a date for the rematch.
December 21st.
Huge.
Just before Christmas.
Is that? Do you think that was off the back of the Day of Reckoning? Was it Day of Reckoning that was on the 23rd?
That wasn't it?
And they were like, well, it worked quite well just before Christmas.
Everyone's home. Well, I wouldn't say everyone's home, but everyone's back home, all in the Christmas spirit. And yeah, wow. At least we get it. Do we get it for Undisputed?
I wouldn't be certain that it happens in December. I won't be shocked if it happens
I'm not
early
being
next
funny,
year,
mine. It's Turki Alalshikh. If he said something, he's going to do it.
But from what we've seen of Usyk Fury, the fight that we never thought we were going to see because it was delayed so much, there's a chance that, I don't know, Fury gets another cut on the eye or something. Like it could happen. It seems.
It would
to
be nice to see it in December if it's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. And
do I back Tyson Fury again? I don't know.
if you do,
It's bad. It's bad.
After what you've
I don't know boxing if I do, but I can't go against a Brit.
it was such a close first fight. I wouldn't blame you.
It wouldn't be a total shock if Fury goes and beats him.
No.
Well, you look at the first Wilder fight, and you look at Fury, he got a draw, and then the second fight, he just destroyed him.
If Fury dominated the middle rounds, if he could have done that throughout the fight, he wins easy.
He sorts out his corner. I think that's the first thing you
Yeah.
do. I don't think there's anything wrong with the way they went at fighting Usyk, apart from being a bit more on the front foot. If he
Should've
sorts
just been
out
one
his
person.
corner, then I think we get a very, very... we get the best Tyson Fury I think we ever see.
Yeah, it was interesting. I saw an interview actually. I feel bad, but I can't remember who had done the interview. But it was with Peter Fury, and
Really
even
good
he
interview, fair play.
said like, yeah, they need to sort out. Like that's all they need to do basically is get rid of. I didn't say that, but get rid of John Fury.
But you saw...
just get rid of him.
Wait, Sugar Hill was telling him to be a bit more, be on the front foot, and then John Fury's, go on your back foot and just jab.
Yeah,
And then, what was the other guy? Andy Lee. He was saying, you've got 2 rounds and you're undisputed champion. All of that,
It's just a mix.
with all the sound of the arena as well, how the hell he could listen to it, I don't know. So,
That was after the 9th round as well.
Yeah,
so
and then
after he'd been bashed about the ring.
and then you've got the guy on the opposite side of the corner, one man speaking, and he's kissing a crucifix as well. How calm he was compared to that one. It was a shambles.
I think we've you see it a lot with at any level of boxing. The differences you can see in some corners. I remember I think it was Enzo Macronelli and Conor McIntosh in Conor's last fight. They were just sat. Conor was just sat there. They're just having a chat basically.
I tell you, the perfect example was Nathan Heaney's fight against Denzel Bentley.
Yes.
That corner work from the names.
Is his dad in his corner?
I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly, but that corner work is exactly what you need.
Nathan Heaney's corner is really good, and I'm the same. I can't remember his name, but even in the last fight against Brad Pauls, they were talking to them basically, and it just it makes it so much better.
Well, you calm the fighter down and everything, but
The example of, but people do get away with it, I think, and I think Fury's gotten away with that sort of thing because he's been better than his opponent, and he's got away. I remember when it was, I'm only saying this because I remember it, but Warrington Frampton, I think it was. And his dad was basically saying to him, chill, calm down, step back.
that was December 21st.
Stop boxing him, basically. And Josh did box him and won, but then he did the same thing against Lee Wood and it cost him. You can't keep doing it and getting away with it. And eventually we saw it. It caught up with Fury. He needs to, listen and
That's the first
fight.
thing he does, is sort out the corner and then focus on the fight.
But if we get this rematch December 21st, if Fury manages to pull it off and win, we could have undisputed Fury AJ
That would be nice.
next year.
We said this, for
That's
boxing.
my grand plan, because that's all. But yeah, I'll shut up.
For boxing, it's the better fight, is Fury to win, so that we can see Fury AJ finally in Wembley.
It doesn't need the belts,
all of this.
though,
Do you reckon it
also.
happens in Wembley?
No.
I think they'll do 2. They'll do 1 in Riyadh, 1 in Wembley.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's Turki Alalshikh, man. He does it for the boxing fan, so he could do it in Wembley.
He does do it for the boxing fans, but he does also do it for Saudi Arabia.
True.
His job is literally, he is in charge of getting big events in Saudi Arabia.
And if there's going to be any fight that gets a lot of people out there, it's going to be that one.
Well,
Yeah.
you saw it. I've never seen Riyadh so busy, so full of Brits as well. Throughout that fight week, that weigh-in, it was unbelievable. It felt like it was like taking over Vegas or something. You used to have Ricky Hatton over there and all.
Yeah.
But,
And Calzaghe, just everyone. It's nice. Still in Riyadh next weekend.
This
the
weekend.
5v5 this weekend even.
This
sorry,
weekend.
the 5v5. It's a good. And do you know what? The event every time it looks better and better. And I saw I think it was on Eddie Hearn's Twitter. He tweeted out a picture of the venue, and there was just billboards everywhere. It just
Do you know what
looks
that
nuts.
they call that Times Square?
Is that what it's
That's
called?
what it's called. Times Square, New York. They're in.
Fair enough. It does look similar, to be fair. It's not too dissimilar.
Look, probably nicer than the actual Times Square as well.
Yeah, you don't have people doing backflips while their mates rob you and stuff.
And the smell of marijuana.
Yeah, definitely not that.
I'm really excited for this week, though.
Yeah,
Not just for the 5v5, but also we've got the
build up, the press conference, the
Welsh title fights on the weekend. This busy weekend for us. But
yeah, we are going to be busy. We're going to have to probably catch up on most of this card, unfortunately, because that's
the annoying bit about it, though, ain't it?
If you're listening, Chris, we're so happy to be down there. No complaints on our fight. But no, yeah, it's a shame and we're going to miss it, but we can catch up on it. It's
exactly
fine. But yeah, all that content on our
I
channel.
doubt we'd miss much over how late it's probably going to be on.
Yeah, 7 p.m. start.
This is the one time where I'd be happy for them to bring out as many musicians or wherever they want.
Yeah, please
have like
do.
a full Glastonbury set from like Coldplay or so.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Do we like this sort of thing, this format, the 5v5? Because we've seen...
It's really good.
It's original, ain't it?
Like with Misfits and stuff, and there's a lot of backlash to some of the creative things they're doing. But do you think boxing needs this kind of thing? Make more of a show of it rather than just like two people having a scrap in a ring?
I think it brings back the amateur feel to boxing. So, Barry Jones said yesterday, it's like when England used to fight Wales, it could be 4-4 going into the last fight, and you're going to have Filip Hrgović, Raymond Forth cheering on Deontay Wilder to get the knockout. It's a really good concept, and yeah, I cannot.
And there's different ways they could go about it as well. I know they've spoke about doing like a UK USA version. Like it'd just be really good for like something different.
And other promoters are doing it as well. I think Nielsen Boxing are doing one in the other two as well. So
yeah,
that's what I was going to say. It'd be good for small hall shows to do something like that, I think.
But it's also good as well because we're seeing now promoters working together. Top Tier have got a Matchroom fighter fighting against one of theirs. Queensberry have done it numerous of times. You saw it this weekend. It's just good for boxing as well, ain't it? That after, 30 years of them not talking, they're finally talking, and we're getting probably the best card of our lifetimes this weekend, 50-50 wise.
Literally, yeah, you wouldn't see a better card than that, will you? Like in terms of every fight on it.
You can make an argument for every single fight on there.
Does.
This is the thing that's great about the sort of 5v5, 10v10, whatever it be, is you get fights that you probably wouldn't see because they wouldn't necessarily make sense for the promoters. I don't think either Eddie or Frank would have made Raymond Ford versus Nick Bull without this show, because I don't think that makes sense for either fighter, because they're too difficult. There's easier world title fights out there for both of them.
Well, the rematch of Ray Vargas.
Exactly.
You go back in time.
Seeing it.
You go back in time, or like a fight like a Ray Ford Nick Bull. Like before, probably would have gone through their whole career without ever fighting each other because of the thing of being so like protective over your fighters. But yeah, it's really good to see that this is happening and they're finally working together.
And like you say, even down at the lower levels, what it means is you're getting fighters that are 4-5-0 that normally be fighting a journeyman are now fighting someone else who's 4-5-0 rather than fighting. It's better for boxing. It's exciting. I want the UK versus USA. I think that would be really good.
Really good. I think the only other thing with boxing sort of needs to get rid of the mindset of once you lose a fight, that's you done.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like you can lose.
I think the main event in this card, matters. I think whoever loses the main event on
Saturday,
but
this is like two guys like towards the end of their career effectively. But like with the case of Ray Ford and Nick Ball now on the weekend, neither of them have lost.
We could have
but if you lose this fight,
series
it doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad fighter. You've just been beaten on the night by a world class, elite level fighter.
Well, it's like Anthony Joshua lost to Usyk twice. Yeah. People don't really. It's Usyk, Dubois lost to Usyk. People are like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you can have a couple losses on your record and it doesn't matter. I mean, you can have hundreds of losses if you beat. You could lose to 100 people if you beat Tyson Fury. You're like, you know what I mean? Let's go through the predictions for this one. Oh. The bit that Harry dreads every week.
They've got them all on the hands, haven't they?
They have. Let's do Dimitri Bivol versus...
There's me with my notepad, like we're going to write them out.
Against Malik Zinad first, because that one's obviously not part of the 5v5.
But I think that's going to be like... Do you know, like the Super Bowl, they have the halftime break? I think that's what we're going to have. On,
like Katy Perry or whatever it was. Yeah.
Dimitri Bivol.
Bivol points decision. I feel like that's an easy one for me. I think the other guy's a decent fighter, but he's not...
Well, he's an undefeated fighter, and he's got the opportunity of a lifetime here, isn't he?
I get it, yeah. But he's not better to be ever, is he?
You've both gone decision, no?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Bivol stoppage.
So Bivol gets his first
stoppage since 2018.
It's possible. It's definitely not... I mean, he wouldn't have got it against Peterbiev, but, you never know.
I'm just thinking, he's been training for Beterbiev, he's going to be in elite shape, and I think he want to show this weekend why he's the top dog.
I don't know if he's asked about the finish though. Like,
no, he might not be, but
Well, look at the last fight with Lyndon Arthur. Let's be honest, it was a snooze fest for the majority of it.
But it was. It wasn't the most exciting fight in the world. But he just comfortably beat him basically, and just knew he comfortably beat him the whole way. What have you gone for? Have you gone points?
Bivol points? Yeah.
Craig Richards versus Willie Hutchinson, light heavyweight, 12-rounder. First one to kick off the card. What are we saying?
very good fight.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bite with it now. There's been some back and forth on.
And if it's true, you want Craig Richards to absolutely batter him.
Yeah,
and that's what I've got. I think Craig Richards batters him and stops him. So I've got 2 points Matchroom already.
I've gone Richards knockout. 2 points Matchroom.
2 points.
I've got Richards by decision.
So 1 point Matchroom.
There we go. So Harry's totting him up so that we know who we think is going to win out Matchroom Queensberry as well, with the whole captain's double knockout situation that's there as well. The next one on the card, I can't believe that this is the second fight on a card.
I don't see it being.
I'm still struggling with this one.
Well, it says it is Hrgović Dubois. What do we think? Heavyweight, 12-rounder, 2 world title contenders in their career. There's an alternate timeline where Daniel Dubois' body shot on Usyk wasn't counted as a body shot, and he's walking around with a world title around his waist. Who has it?
I haven't been impressed with Hrgović lately, if I'm being honest.
You haven't. But you're not. You guys both have been quite harsh on Hrgović since we've started the podcast.
Well, I think the Zhang fight, you can go fair enough. It was an off night because of personal reasons, but that what was his Mackenzie or something? I can't remember who he fought, but yeah, that was terrible. And then he fought Mark Damori, 12 years too late in my opinion. But yeah, I honestly don't know how this fight goes. Do I want Dubois to win so we get Anthony Joshua Dubois, an all-British main event, or... this is terrible.
I'm going for...
This is a proper 50-50 when you look at it.
It's a tough fight. I'm going to go for a Dubois finish, which seems mad because Hrgović has never lost, let alone been finished, but I do like Dubois. I can't help but not like him, even though he probably took... Like Hrgović said, 20 takes on his call-out video and had a whatever else, green screen or whatever behind him. But yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Wesley's still making his decision. I've gone the opposite way with Hrgović stoppage.
Ooh. Fair enough.
I think I won't, like I said, it's a 50-50. I won't be shocked. It
really could go either way.
I feel like if the best version of Hrgović turns up, I think he would just edge you.
I think Dubois stops him.
Do you think he's got a higher ceiling then than Dubois? Hrgović? Do you think on his best day he's better than Dubois?
I don't think he's shown probably his full potential but in terms of what we've seen so far this week, Ed Ewan really rates him and thinks he should be sort of next in line in terms of heavyweights. I still think AJ beats him, but
I've changed mine. Hrgović knockout.
Have you?
Yeah, after hearing that.
That's naughty.
If he kept his mouth shut, it would have been...
He can't do that.
I'll let it slide. I don't mind.
I haven't submitted the predictions.
I don't mind, because I back my predictions, and I'm happy
to Ben's
win.
currently got it. Me and Ben have... Well, I've got it 4-0 Matchroom. Ben's got it 3-0 Matchroom. You've got it for 2 each.
So, Hamza Shiraz, Ammo Williams,
this
middleweight,
is where
12
it swings
rounder.
round for me.
It's a big fight. Hamza Shiraz is captain. Frank loves him, absolutely loves him. I think he's on a
very good.
What is it, like a 14 knockout streak or 13 knockout streak? He was level with Sam Noakes, and then Sam Noakes didn't get the knockout against Eva Mendy. So I think if he gets the knockout now, he has the longest knockout rate.
Ammo Williams is an interesting character as well, ain't he?
Yeah, he's certainly one of a kind.
Mm.
But
you need sort of those type of characters in boxing, though, don't you? But yeah, I think Shiraz stops him.
Same.
And
he's an elite level fighter with a very good amateur background, so it's the toughest test that Shiraz is going to have in his career.
Yeah.
So what have you gone for?
Shiraz by stoppage.
Despite that. Yeah, I've got it Shiraz knockout. So
Ben's got it
4-3
to Queensberry. I've got it 4-all.
I got it 6-2.
And you've got it...
I got knockout Shiraz, so 6-2, is it? Something like that.
Yes.
Fair enough.
6-2. So what have you gone? Oh, you went for Dubois.
Ray Ford, Nick Bull. Such a hard one to call. What we
the
say?
weight, I think, is a problem for Ray Ford, but because you've seen him at the Grand Arrivals yesterday wearing glasses and a massive tracksuit on, but I think he gets it on points. But yeah, it's another tough fight. All of them are tough fights to call, but I think, yeah, Ray Ford...
I think this is the one Eddie Hearn's most worried about.
He's a massive fan of Nick Ball, ain't he?
It really concerns me because Ray Ford's last win against Kolmatov was not convincing. He got the knockout.
He was
very
30 seconds away from losing his belt.
And Nick Ball's so good. He's so good. He's so scary.
This should be a unification fight as well.
It should be, yeah. I'm going to go for a Ford points decision, but I'm not confident on it.
So you've both gone Ford points decision.
Yeah.
Oh, I've given myself...
I'm sticking with one of my favourite fighters, and I'm going Ball by stoppage.
Fair enough.
So 2 points. Wow. So you've got it now, 6-3.
6-3.
Going into the last fight. I've
one.
got it 6... What have I got it? 4-4... 5-4... Matchroom going into the last fight.
So, Deontay Wilder, the captain of Matchroom, which is mental to say. You know, we never would have thought that for the final, the main event of this show, you're going to have Eddie Hearn
shouting
for Deontay Wilder to win.
You've got it 6-3 as well, so you've got it all going down to this fight.
I've got it 6-3, haven't I?
Yeah, you have as well, but...
We both got a 6-3 Queensberry, have we?
Yeah. So,
yeah,
this one for me... It's so hard to call. I think I can say there's going to be a guaranteed knockout.
If it's not a knockout, mine, it's probably the worst main event
if this
ever.
Doesn't end early, it will be an awful fight.
It's really difficult to call, but not because either of them are incredible, but because they're both on the decline, and it's so hard to say how good either of them is.
If they get to like 8 to 12 rounds, it'd be like when you're playing a video game against someone and you've both run out of the energy bar and can't throw anything.
Yeah. I think who is more likely to get the knockout based off of... I'm going to say Zhang, because I think Zhang looked, albeit crap against Parker, I was still scared that he was going to knock out Parker. Deontay Wilder against Parker, I wasn't worried.
It depends
for
on
Parker
what Wilder turns up, I think. You need the aggressive, I want a body on my record Wilder to turn up.
Yeah. Do you think Eddie just gets him backstage and just like insults him, just says the most horrible things to him?
I think he just has to say to him, look, if you don't go in there and stop him, you were done.
Yeah.
Like, you won't have anything else to, like, in terms of the sport.
But he was so, like, just zen against Parker. He just wasn't asked by anything. Like, there was no fire left. If he has a fire,
if that version of him turns up, it's going to be a struggle. But if you get the old Deontay Wilder where he wants to go in there and hurt someone, then he should get a stoppage.
He's taken a risk, I think, with picking Wilder. But yeah, I think Wilder knocks out Zhang. Even though I'm a massive fan of Zhang, I just think, Wilder's got is harder.
I think he has taken a risk,
really,
but also I think it's a calculated risk because, you know, Hrgovic to Wild's a close fight. Craig Richards is probably a more comfortable fight than most people think, but it's not, the fact that he's going to get a knockout's not that likely necessarily. But Wilder, if he does win, he's going to get a knockout. So Eddie's thinking that could be 4 points. That's huge.
That's what I've got. Wilder by stoppage, which would mean I'd have
7-6.
Matchroom winning 7-6.
I've gone Zhang knockout.
So you've got it
Zhang
8-3 Queensberry.
Yeah, which I think is harsh. And I do think Wilder.
Look at my one's 9-4 Matchroom.
Is it?
The only person I've gone against is Amma Williams. All the others I've gone with Matchroom.
You've got a Matchroom quite wide.
Comfortably.
You've got a Queensberry quite wide, and I've got it
really
near
close.
enough close.
God, judges these days, man, they're useless. It's so hard to go. Wilder can do it. He can do it. But who's more likely? I think Zhang. Possibly.
We need to do the
rounds. Oh, this is going to be a long one, isn't it? What are we saying? 12, 24, 36. Oh, this is hard.
50 rounds I've gone.
That low?
58.
I've got a lot of stoppages in mine.
Yeah, true. You've gone 58?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god.
I'm going to go 59. Just to be cheeky.
111.56 to 1.
I've gone for 59 rounds, just in case it's close between me and you.
You think yours is bad at 111 to 1?
208 for me.
208 to 1. Mine
I
is,
think our predictions are all...
Mine is 6,221 to 16.
Do you remember the...
So how does that...
I don't know. Do you remember the... what's it called? Was it the... It was the Day of Reckoning card. Mine was like 3,000 to 1 or something.
Mine works out about 388
Yeah, because
to
you
1.
put Otto Wall in as the draw or so.
Yeah.
I like this concept of we're here now writing down our scores, and it's like, yeah, it's like an amateur feel, but
It's good. I like
professional
it.
boxing, and
I really like it.
I want to see more of it. So, me and Ben have got Matchroom winning.
But I won't be shocked if it goes the other way.
Exactly.
Because I'm still struggling with
Do you know
Hrgovic
why?
Dubois.
I think...
Do you know what we should do from now on? We should submit our predictions on the Friday after the weigh-in.
No.
No, you just got to do it on podcast.
I know.
You
but
already
I'm gonna
changed yours after listening
I
to
watch too many interviews, I do, and I hear different viewpoints, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that. Like, I think Gareth A. Davis yesterday
You're a sheep, that's
was saying that Willie Hutchinson was going to win, and I was like, I can see that, but what we're hearing out in Riyadh, I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, but that's the thing, innit? Every fight is... Not, you say it a lot of times, but every fight on this card is a proper 50.
No, but we say it,
either way.
but sometimes it's not. But this time, it is.
It is.
It is 100% all 50-50s.
Yeah. I trust myself, though. I listened to a hell of a lot of Fury's going to win, and I stayed headstrong. I was like, no, I think Usyk's going to win. And I was happy I did.
And
so
we're sitting at
sticking
5-4-2 at the minute, aren't we?
for the predictions, yeah.
And we've all agreed that Hamza Shiraz stops Ammo Williams.
It's not a guarantee, though. It's a tough fight. It's a really tough fight.
Like, you won't be shocked if you're watching it Saturday night and you're like, oh, Ammo Williams has stopped Shiraz.
Yeah.
And like,
It's a good...
just
an incredible
there's every
card.
bar the main event, I think there's every possibility for every outcome in every fight.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Well, we've all kind of agreed on some of the fights and disagreed on others. I think you're the only one with the main event that's gone against with Zhang.
I've gone
The
against you
first
two
fight,
and Nick
you've
Ball.
got Richards by points and Nick Ball, yeah. Which, honestly, I can see Nick Ball winning, but
This is the most varied
I like
our
it.
predictions have been on any show, I think.
Yeah.
Ever. The Fury Usyk ones were quite varied, and we had a howler. We all had a howler. So maybe
The
we're going
main
to have a
event
howler
saved
again.
me, to be
Well,
fair.
apparently we all thought Sergey Kovalev was going to knock out Robin Safar. But
What were we
there go.
thinking, man? What were we thinking? Anyway, that pretty much wraps up for this week. The only other thing that I suppose we haven't really technically, like, officially said on the podcast is the Undisputed Game is going to come out at some point soon.
October,
relatively
that's
soon.
out.
October. We've messaged a couple of times about maybe doing some content around that on the channel. If you'd like to do that, let us know. If you're still listening, 49 minutes in anyway.
49 minutes.
If you're still listening, comment down below and we'll, we'll reply, we'll say thank you, whatever on there. But let us know if you want to see us play Undisputed, because we're excited for it. If that's something you'd want to see, then we'll happily do it. If it's not, if you just want to hear us
waffle
and slag off Ryan Garcia, then albeit
Subscribe.
tell us that you don't want us to play a game. Other than that, anything else to talk
We've got the
about?
Welsh title fights this weekend, so I
course.
think
we'll have
it's a big weekend for Welsh boxing, and I think we're going to get some content out for that on Friday, aren't we?
Yeah,
With it.
weigh-ins on Friday, fight night Saturday, and some stuff on Sunday morning as well, and then probably back next week, talk about this one, preview whatever fight we've got next. I can't remember now. It's been so busy.
We
think
might have a
We're finally
weekend
going
off.
to the quiet
Do we actually have it?
period of...
I think
Let
we
me have
might.
a look real quick. What's the date today? 29th, so it's the 31st.
It'd be June the 8th. Would be
June the 8th-ish. Have we got anything big coming up?
Probably something we're forgetting about.
Almost certainly. Do you know what? I think we're all right. Next week's a quiet one, finally.
But then the following week then is Chris Bellum-Smith, ain't it?
Yep, and Subriel Mateus fighting for the...
Liam Parra.
Yeah,
Great
fighting,
fight.
And then, and Tank Davis fighting Frank Martin.
Yeah.
So yeah, straight back to the grind after that.
just a little weekend off of no boxing, and then we're back on it.
And then we're straight back on it. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all. Check out all our social media stuff: Instagram for reels, YouTube shorts, Twitter for previews, tweets, all of that good stuff. Anything else we've got these days? TikTok, some stuff on TikTok, I think, at some point.
Were you saying about Snapchat as well? Or? No.
I'm just having a little play around. It doesn't work.
We'll have to go and explain to Ben what Snapchat is.
Don't check us out on Snapchat. Anything else?
No, I'm just looking forward to this weekend. No?
Just wish Ryan Pocock, Ethan Jorgs the best of luck, and obviously Angelo Dragoni as well. Hopefully it's third time lucky for him.
Versus Jake Tinklin.
Yeah.
Good luck to everyone. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next week.
Punches chance. Punches Chance Podcast.